Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, and so happy to have you joining us today. We have a very special guest. He is chairman of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and our friend for many, many years at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We have been so blessed to have a relationship with Paul Murphy and his team at Cadence. And Paul's got some exciting news for us, and so I want to welcome you, Paul Murphy. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Laura. Always a pleasure to be with you. And yes, we're very pleased to comment on our recently announced merger with BanCorp South. Dan Rollins, the CEO there, is someone I've known for 20 years and someone we've been talking with kind of off and on for the last several years about the viability of combining our two companies. And I'm just delighted that we're able to put the deal together. They bring a great strength in community banking, a 145-year track record. And we bring a bunch of expertise and depth around our commercial middle market banking teams, our treasury business, and our wealth management platforms. So on a combined basis, we'll be about $44 billion in assets. We'll be kind of right at that top 50 in the United States. We'll have $1.8 billion in revenue and over $450 million in fee income, 420 branches to serve clients throughout the 9-state region. Very focused on client service and being responsive. And it just gives us more capabilities and more technology and more product and better pricing. We're pretty excited about it.
Well, congratulations. And I can't begin to imagine for your team and theirs what this means and how it's going to really, at the end of the day, help you serve your existing and potentially new clients. So let's talk about COVID and the pivot in your industry, but especially for Cadence and what you all did to make sure you continue to take care of all of your clients, customers.
Sure. Well, COVID is coming under control and the vaccinations are working. We expect we'll have full opening of the United States, more rapidly as the vaccinations continue over the summer. And we think in the fall, the reopening will occur quickly. As you may know, Laura, the U.S. really is ahead of the rest of the world, but we do see other parts of the world are catching up. So that's encouraging news. We see from a labor market standpoint, jobs will probably not recover to the pre-COVID levels for another 18 months, but in the meantime, the consumer is strong. Consumers have reduced their outstanding debt during the crisis. The banks are very liquid. Never seen this much liquidity in the system, and they're open and looking for loans. And so, the success over the next couple of years is going to depend on putting people back to work and reopening businesses that closed or in creating some new businesses that will open in their place. Just quickly on interest rates, rates are very low. It looks like we're going to be heavily anchored, especially on the short end of the curve, to a zero rates. And while you do see some price increases here and there, there's just really not an indication that inflation is really increasing. So we would see a little probability that the Fed will raise rates anytime soon. It just looks like a lower for longer interest rate environment. Yeah, and you mentioned what have we done during the crisis? We funded about $1.1 billion of PPP loans. We repurposed about 400 of our bankers to work on PPP loans. We did over 4,000 loans, 2/3 of which were under $150,000. So we're really able to help small businesses with the PPP program. And as you might expect, the world just wanted to adopt a digital platform much more quickly. So text messaging, online banking, it just exploded during this process. We have ITMs, intelligent terminals, like an ATM, and usage on that is up fourfold. We had 19 to start with. We're putting another 40 in service because they've become so popular, extended hours, and clients really like them.
Paul, switching subjects but still connected. Cadence, yourself, certainly the Chamber, all having the conversation around diversity, equity, and inclusion. You and Cadence, however, have done more than that. You've put money behind this. You've identified an executive within your organization to be strategic and not just check off a box. I know recently you and I hosted about 30 CEOs as it related to this conversation. We presented data from McKinsey and Company on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And one of the data points specifically was around including women and minorities and how performance and revenue increased. Why is this so important to Cadence? Why have you taken such an active role in diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Well, Laura, again, thank you for your observations and your understanding of some of our initiatives, many of our initiatives. And so, yes, we've long been committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, but really the death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and others, I mean, it just was so shocking that it sort of was a sea change. And so we did create a 50-person diversity council. We appointed Myra Caldwell as our chief diversity officer. We began to build out a strategy that's much more proactive and much more expansive. We built, closer relationship with historically Black colleges and universities. We've supported a number of local initiatives around social justice efforts, things that you're doing at the Houston Hispanic Chamber and the Houston Area Urban League. We've improved our processes for identifying vendors from diverse groups. It's really been totally energizing and positive experience. We hosted a call around diversity with over 500 people participated in when some of our African American bankers were able to tell about the talk that they had with their kids. And so many of our colleagues didn't know there was a talk that you had to have with your kids. They knew about the birds and the bees talk, but they didn't know about if you get pulled over by the police, what you need to be aware of. And so we're learning a lot, and we're understanding each other's situation, or I think we're gaining appreciation in a meaningful way for some things that maybe, others, in my case, I did not have full appreciation for some of the challenges that our minority colleagues face in life and in business, and just some incredible, the depth of the injustices that exist in today's world. And so we're mobilized about doing something about it. What we can do is in our environment and our workplace is significant, and we think we can have an impact on the communities that we serve, and we think that long term we can be a thoughtful voice to our elected officials, and just there's a lot of ways that we can participate and move the needle. And I'm extremely proud of our team. The emails that I got after our call yesterday from across the board, our all elements of our workforce, I mean, they're proud of what we're doing. They see it as meaningful and not lip service. And listen, some of our bankers that spoke were vulnerable. I mean, they were telling from the heart, what it's like. And so again, maybe too long of an answer to your question, but we have some good initiatives at Cadence that I'm very proud of. It's going to make a difference in people's lives.
Well, and Paul, that is the difference between the work that you all are doing at Cadence and perhaps other organizations or corporations that perhaps are not looking at it from a holistic standpoint, that are still having employees in these subgroups talking to each other. Mm-hmm. The fact that you had employees sharing their experience as African Americans with your entire group of over 500 people on this particular topic makes all the difference in the world, because if we're only talking to ourselves, then no one is learning. And so thank you for, again, setting that example, being a leader in this space of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is why you are to so many people just a leader, a role model, and to me, a mentor and friend. So thanks for all you do, Paul Murphy.
Laura, you're wonderful. Always a pleasure being with you.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day.